the umbrella effect. So what is this? What do I mean by that? Really, every movement falls under an umbrella category of other movements that are as like it. So if you are running, for example, barbell row, and you've ran this for 16, 20 weeks, and you've progressed, you've got stronger, you've gotten bigger, and now you're at that point where not much progress is happening and you're bored. The movement isn't tickling you anymore. You can then change that movement for a whole list of movements, and this isn't including like machines. It's assuming you have a bench and you've got a head to set up a seal row. But if you have like a chest support T-bar row, or like in flex we've got mega mass row, anything like that kind of falls under a similar category. So a barbell row, let's say you get bored with that, you can swap that to a one-arm dumbbell row. Very similar. You could swap that to a T-bar row with either a close grip handle or a wider grip handle. Very similar. A dumbbell row, where you're doing the exact same fucking thing. Just instead of a bar, you've got dumbbells. Or a seal row, where you've got the bench set up. Yes, you are chest supported, so you're not going to get that like lower back stimulus, you're not going to get the erectors, you're not going to be challenging your glutes and hamstrings, but in terms of the upper back and back stimulation, it's very, very similar. So the umbrella effect is what I would like to view it as, is everything falls under these categories. So like a squat, for example, a back squat, a Smith machine back squat, a true squat, some would argue a hack squat, a safety bar squat. These are all movements I would put in their own little category. Yes, they're squat variations, but they are going to feel very similar to people. Some may not get on well with squats at all, but they'll prefer hack squats. Some people will get knee pain with hack squats, but prefer to squat in the Smith machine. It's one of those things where you've got this massive group of exercises that are really, really similar to each other. So then when you need to change it, or you got injured, or something stops clicking, and you're not getting that progressive feel to it anymore, you can change it like that, and you've got a likewise movement. Because the main thing of doing all this is, again, previous episodes, you want these big bang for your buck movements in your sessions. So like a barbell row, if this stops to progress, if I were to replace a barbell row with something else, I'd probably have to replace it with two different movements personally. I'd probably do like a low row, so it's obviously chest supported, so you're getting that upper back stimulus, and then I'd want something that is going to like get some mid back and some erectors, so maybe be doing like a stiff leg, or like a one-arm dumbbell row, like a different variation of a one-arm dumbbell row. So that's the whole point. Like when it comes to dropping these movements out or swapping them, or if you're injured and you can't do them anymore, there are likewise movements there. Like all of a sudden sometimes I'll be getting on really well with a leg movement, like a leg machine, hack squat, whatever it is, and then all of a sudden my knees just go like that, and then I can no longer do said movement for a while. Then I swap it to something similar, because you can do that. There's nothing to say you can't do that. That's what the whole point is of exercise selection, picking the movements. The one thing I will say, was and gestures today, is you have to consider that your training split isn't a week, it's a circle. So, and I used to laugh when people didn't realise this. It may have been simple, I don't know. We shall see. So, the way I view a training week, a lot of people think it's Monday to Sunday, and it is. Monday, Tuesday. So a lot of people view it like that, Monday to Sunday, and it is. But, you know what then happens? You go back to Monday, so it's Monday, Tuesday, and so forth. So when it comes to like exercise selection, and let's say you're doing, I don't know, I'll use my own split again, being a conceited Selfish prick. I'll tell you that. Legs, push, arms, pull. So just like that. Legs, delts, arms, pull, push for chest, back, off, legs, push. So, with that being said, would it be wise for me to do something really fucking heavy and stupid that's going to make this session harder? No, but a lot of people will be like, oh, well, my back session's at the end of the week. I don't do legs till the start of the week, so I'll properly fucking go bananas and bury myself. Sound. And then pull on Thursday. Same thing. So am I going to do something that's going to make my back session really tricky when I'm training back a couple of days later? And then again, with legs, before the pull. So you have to take this type of thing, this train of thought as a setup of, like, your training week is a circle. So like, Monday's here, you're going to come back to Monday. It's like a clock. So, because what I used to see all the time, at least when I was a younger PT, was you see people fucking burying themselves on like a Friday for, I don't know, like arms, and they'd come in to train chest on Monday, and they'd be getting annoyed and frustrated because their arms were still sore, their elbows were sore, because they've done so much on the Friday night. So it's just like, well, of course that's going to happen, that was only a couple of days ago. Like, yeah, but it's a new week. I'm like, no, to your body it isn't, it's to your body, it's just a different fucking day. So, you need to realise that. So like, for example, I was doing arms on my Thursday, but I was finding that was like, I'm going to make my elbows. So I moved it to arm to Wednesday, so I could do push that bit better. And then the same thing goes for, I'll use the green pen, the same thing goes for like training my back. My pull session, I've only got 3 sets of pull-ups, a dumbbell pullover, and then 3 sets, so 7 sets of back here. So it's not that much before here. Nice. And then like, in terms of spinal loading, because this is one thing I used to take into consideration a lot. So obviously when you deadlift, when you squat, when you do a barbell row, anything like that, you are putting strain on your erectors, and if your spine is not strong, you're going to run into some issues. So like, I do 2 sets of squats here, I do 2 sets of good mornings here, and then I do 3 sets of a pull here. So it's spread across the week. But then, when I come in here again, I'm doing another 2. So what I tend to do the weeks when I'm going a bit mental with my back day, the leg day here, I will just be a bit more thoughtful with how I'm loading my squats and my leg sessions. But yeah, you can literally write out your sessions like this way, and then figure out, well, like, these movements in my push sessions here and here cause some elbow issues. How can I work that out? And then from there, use all your new knowledge with exercise selection, the way you would pick things, and adjust it so that you're able to still do it, whether it be less volume, different setup, different movements, whatever it may be. Drop it. That's how I would run it.